riding my motorcycle to the hill country of Texas, stealth camping on the Three Sisters, and then getting up and riding those ladies first thing in the morning. What could be better? Nothing. Nothing could be better. So after wandering out of my camp that morning from San Saba, I wandered west to the Three Sisters, and I was determined to camp somewhere very near the Three Sisters this evening. And I got to a place just before dark, another roadside picnic area, rest area, and it turned out to be just about freaking perfect. It was close by a general store, even though they closed up early. By the time I realized I'd just broken my last spear and turned around and came back down this road, they were closed, unfortunately. But fortunately for me, I usually have plenty of liquor on hand. So I wound up enjoying the evening here. And this is actually the start of 337. So next morning I got up, packed up all my gear, and rolled down 337 for the first time. But not too bad of a campsite, despite the fact that law enforcement was buzzing up and down this road all night long. They did not give me any trouble whatsoever. But it was so quiet to be on top of this hill. After a long, windy day of riding, the wind just about completely stopped by the time I made camp here. So I was pretty excited to be here, and now I am a big advocate of stealth camping in Texas roadside rest area picnic areas, just like this one. Well, I'm riding the hill country today. I'm on my second of the sisters. I've had the first sister. She was pretty awesome. Now I'm on the second sister, headed towards Lakey. It looks like it's spelled leaky, but yeah, I was corrected. It's Lakey, apparently. But yeah, that's going to be my second rest stop in Texas. Hopefully, if I don't get run off. Looks pretty sweet. Looks better than the last one, even. Mainly because it's way less traffic here. And people may be doing 75, 80, but not not in the volume that my stop outside of San Saba was last night. But an interesting thing right across the street is this sign back here. Pretty interesting. I mean, it tells of the dangers of this road, but more specifically motorcycles. And what does that mean exactly? Do cars and trucks not crash here? Is it just motorcycles? Or is it that it draws so many people to this area and these roads that the increase is dramatic? Quite frankly, I don't think that number is very high. I mean, it may have been high when they posted it. I mean, that could have been 4 years. That's a lot of bikers in 4 years. I don't know. I don't know how many bikers have died since they posted that sign, but for what is that, 15 years? That's not a lot of deaths. I know roads that are much more deadly than this, but maybe this is the twistiest road in all of Texas. I don't know, but it's kind of an odd sign. If nothing else, it's going to get your attention and go, hey man, you better be aware where you're at. I can think of similar signs on the Dragon. I'm trying to think. There's another one up in Cherahalla, I think. Dangerous roads. Nothing specific about motorcycles, but dangerous roads. Lots of collisions. Stay in your lane. Those kind of things. Especially when they draw a crowd. A certain crowd, people that want to go really fast in curvy roads, or people that want to show off, or whatever those people are. I love those roads myself, so I guess I'm probably one of those people. But maybe the difference between me and those other people is that I pretty much know my limits. I know where I can go and what I can't, how fast I can go, and I very rarely run into surprises. So. But we're going to find out tomorrow. We may find out tonight if somebody runs me off. But man, I really think that I doubt that somebody's going to run me off from here tonight, because there's nobody up here. There's been 2 vehicles passed since I've been here for the last 20 minutes maybe, so there's not really anything going on. And it's Thursday night, so. But it's a nice spot. It's quiet. There's not a lot of wind, lucky for me. It was very windy this morning. And very rainy early this morning. Well, spray, lots of spray. I got lucky mainly. I was in a shelter, but that spray got blown in by the 20 and 30 knot winds. Anyway, I think I'm gonna sit down and crack a beer. Give me some dinner. Went looking for some branches because it doesn't seem like there's a lot around here. And I'm coming back over here and I'm thinking, wow, this could be totally stealth. Bring my bike back here. And these people coming this way can't see anything if the bike's back here. I'm gonna hang my hammock right here, up over the top. Nice little hang right here. And then I can use my tarp in front of that as a blind, so nobody's going to see anything back here. All they're going to see is some brown camouflage. So this is going to be completely stealth. Unless somebody comes in here and shines the light on and sees the tarp flashing, but nobody's going to drive through here at 70 miles an hour and go, whoa, there's somebody back there. It's not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, it's just like everything else. You pull in with headlights, you're probably going to see me. But, you know, you could pull in with your car right here, 10 feet from my spot, which is unusual. I'm starting to really dig these little roadside shelters, pre-made shelters. If nothing else, I could just come in here with, in the right weather, I could come in here just with a hammock, especially on this thing. This is perfect. Much better than the one I hit last night. It's a little bit too high for where I want to hang, but I can hang it down lower even. But yeah, this is gonna work out great. The wind is picking up a little bit, which means that tarp would probably do me good. Break some of that wind, and it's gonna be breaking right here because there's no wind coming from anywhere else really. I guess there could be some wind coming down this way, but yeah, it's coming this way. So anyway, I'm kind of excited. I still haven't settled down. I haven't been riding, man. I'm getting these little short rides in every day. I'm not real happy yet. So there's the motorcycle back there, and I'm starting to think if the wind doesn't kick up, I may not need to do anything except maybe get all this crap back to the back, maybe, or on the other side of the picnic table. So I'm starting to think nobody's coming through here 70 miles an hour looking on the side of the road. If they see a car, if they see, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think, but the sun comes down. When the sun goes down, I'm gonna get out here and hit it with a flashlight, see what it looks like. I mean, obviously it's gonna be a different perception at 70 miles an hour, but damn, the hammock is hanging perfectly. This is now my favorite camping spot in Texas. I don't know, it's a close second to Possum Kingdom. So it was just striking me just now that I am the loudest thing out here within 200 yards. I can see a little bit of movement in the trees over there. Like there's a small breeze, maybe 2 or 3 knots, but there's nothing until you hear a vehicle coming up the hill. Most of the time it's a motorcycle. So in the last 10 minutes, let's see what we got here. It's 7, 10, yeah, last 10 minutes there's been 2 vehicles. And sure, it's Thursday night, it's 7 o'clock. It's just so quiet on the side of a highway. And this is one of the farm to market roads. I think this is 336. I haven't really been paying attention to the maps. I'm just kind of following the directions to the towns. And it's just extraordinary. It's extraordinary how quiet it is. and I'm sitting here screwing it all up. I'm out of whiskey. There's whiskey in my boot. Yeah, that was my first shot. Let's say shot. I'm drinking a whole lot more than I did last night. I think I had, well, San Saba. I went into San Saba. I passed the rest stop like this. I think it had 3 little hangover pavilions. Had a picnic, a concrete / metal picnic table without a shelter. And then I think it had either 2 or 3 more right on the side of the highway. And man, that was a busy highway. It calmed down overnight, but man, it picked up about 2 or 3 too in the morning. So 3 a.m. there was a truck pulled in. I think he sat there idling till probably 7. By the time I finally crawled out of bed, well, I crawled out just before he rolled up, took a piss, and then about 7 or 8, I got back out again. He was still there. Crawled back into bed because man, I was tired. I don't know what it was. Didn't do anything. Anyway, busy highway. Man, that was a busy highway. Not just that. It's a 3-lane. I'm pretty sure it's a 3-lane highway there. So 2 lanes going up the hill, 1 lane coming down. It may have been a 4-lane, but buddy, people do not drive slow around here. It's a 70 or 75 mile an hour speed limit on these twisty country roads. And what's funny is you'll see this big curve coming up and the speed limit is 50 or 55. It's just extraordinary. I love Texas. I love this state. And the more I see of it, the more I love it. The more I talk to the people in Texas, the more I love it. I was born here. I was stationed in San Antonio for a couple of years. And that's when I really started falling in love with the state, because I got out here. I'm trying to remember. It seemed like I had a motorcycle at home. I got stationed out here, brought my car out here, and I bought a motorcycle out here, and that's all I did is I rode. Every weekend I got on my motorcycle and rode as far as I could. Started camping. Well, did I ever camp on the motorcycle? Shit, I don't know. I probably would have gone a lot further had I camped on the motorcycle. I'm not even sure that I knew that was a possibility. Bungee straps. I don't remember bungee straps back then. It was the 80s, y'all. Sorry. Well, thanks for joining me on Don reminisces about his years of motorcycling. Yeah, I was in my 20s. That was the 80s. I was in my 20s. Well, shit, 80s, 90s, early 90s. So, still, I was in my 20s. It was a hellion. That's the worst thing to do to a man like me is put a little money in your pocket, give you a little bit of freedom. Here comes car number 3. It's like 15 minutes there. Yeah, man, that's 15 minutes there. But you can see, that's it. Once he goes over that hill over there, the noise is gone. Now, once these motorcycles go over the hill here, because, loud pipes save lives, you'll hear them for a couple of miles over here. Because they're all the way down the canyon saving lives, all the way down there. Just saving lives all the way down there, miles away, saving lives for miles around. It doesn't take much whiskey. Friday morning, just north of Lost Maples, Texas. I think that's actually a town. It's an area, and I'm just north of it. Well, actually, just west of it. Headed on this awesome road. camped out here last night. Freaking amazing spot. Took almost no prep at all. Nice tables. Cooking up my coffee. Somehow I got my stove running again. I tried to buy another stove at Walmart yesterday, but they didn't have anything close to something that small. So got it working once again. It's probably a valve problem. Don't know. But the most interesting thing that happened last night, other than me getting drunk off of about 3 sips of whiskey, well, no, it's probably more like 12 sips, but 2 o'clock in the morning, I hear, boom, boom. Okay. Some crowds going back to camp late, and then I heard, boom, boom. I'm like, okay, something else is going on. Because there's no traffic, as you can tell. It's been 3 people this morning since I got up about an hour ago. But shortly after that, 4 vehicles came up, and then another 2, and they were all dressed the same. White, late model Ford pickup trucks with cow catchers on the front. I'm thinking it's some government agency, some form of law enforcement or something. Something's going on out here, or was. So they all went in. They all came out. As far as I know, hell, I don't know. But I just figured that's something interesting. I would say Border Patrol, but we're way down from the border. I mean, this is Central Texas still. I think 2 hours. 2 hours west of Austin's about where I'm at. But other than that, freaking amazing. Nobody stopped. If that was law enforcement, they had plenty of opportunity to see me, but I think I nailed it. There's just too much going on here to be looking over here. Because you got 2 signs over here that light up pretty well, and this thing lights up. I mean, you can see it's lighting up right now, and the sun's not even out, so. But do you see anything over here? You see some reflectors, but you don't see shit. You see that sign over there on the left side, right? It's bright. You see reflectors, I guess that's on my jacket, and I can take care of that. But you don't see my motorcycle back behind. You don't see shit. I just think that's amazing. So I don't have to put my tarp up at all. I just put my jacket out back with everything else. Anyway. Cooking me some coffee, and if the stove keeps working, I'm gonna cook some breakfast too, and then I'm gonna go do this awesome road. And her other sister, now that I've had one, I want the other 2. Woo! Adventure. So not only did I break my bottle last night that had my last remaining beer in it, I also broke eggs. I forgot where I put the eggs. I put them in a dry bag with my dirty laundry, with my remaining sausage and cheese, and I forgot. I just forgot. So, but only half the eggs were broken, which leads me to the exact number of eggs I need to make my breakfast. Well, that one's broken, but it didn't come all apart. If I don't spill it all into the street here. Oh, these things got crunched up pretty good. They not only got broken, they got crunched up pretty good. Yeah, so I'm cooking with some open egg on top, but as long as we cook them up, I think everything will be okay. It's a great spot. Great spot. So quiet. Every once in a while a car comes through. And I'm assuming every once in a while in the afternoon a motorcycle comes through. I bet this place would be blazing on the weekends. Well, not this time of year because it's, it's below 75 degrees. It's outside of motorcycle season. Well, so the sign across the street has got me thinking about mortality. like I don't do that every day. But yesterday in particular, I started talking about or thinking about mortality and legacy. And I've been thinking a lot about legacy lately. I think legacy is probably what I started thinking about when I hit the road in 2015. Just kind of gave up on normal life. I got 3 cameras going today. I use this thing all the time. Let me synchronize here, fellas, so I can make something interesting out of this. Now, if I could squeeze in this insanely packed motorcycle. So I'm going that way, but I'm going to go down the hill a little bit, warm up the tires a little bit, because I don't know what's in store. I know that there's twisty roads coming up. I just don't know how freaking twisty. So I'd hate to be in a curve at 70 miles an hour, which I'm going to do, and then find out I need all my tires. And I may do that anyway, but it'd be nice to have some warm tires in case that happens. So just down to the bottom of the hill. Let's see what happens when nobody's hovering over your I don't know what to expect. I know curves. Are they going to be hairpins? I know there's at least one hairpin. But usually Texas anyway. Texas is pretty good about putting the curve signs up. The only other thing that I'm a little bit worried about, Texas has some bouncy roads, like I'm bouncing across this thing right here. And I've got the equivalent of a pillion and her fat sister on the back of the bike. So yeah, that's steep grades, sharp curves, next 12 miles. I dig it. Well, let's see how sharp they are. How long is it going to take us to catch up with those Harleys? I say 4 minutes. All right, start counting. Yeah, the downhill off-camber turns are usually the most dangerous. And this one must be pretty dangerous because they've got signs on it. They've got signs and a guardrail. Ooh, must be really dangerous. Yeah, so these guardrails are made of wood, so they're not as, they're much less like a cheese grater than so many of the metal guardrails are. Haven't seen any law enforcement this morning, so I've got to assume that the patrols are light or they are riding around in unmarked cars, which is what I think they were doing last night. But I don't know what that was. That could have been, who knows what that could have been. I don't know. Oh yeah, so coming across one of the rivers here. This is what is unique. I haven't seen this any other place. This is what's called a low pressure bridge. They're made to flood. Texas has these massive amounts of rain that come along in the rainy season. And the rivers flood. I mean, by flood, I've never seen anything quite like it. So instead of making these big bridges that span what's essentially a creek when it's not raining, that turns into a very, very deep, fast-flowing river when it is raining, and have all these bridges wash away, they just started making these low-pressure bridges out of concrete. So basically, they're like ramps or a shoal for the river. So the river just goes over the bridge. So when the river is not flooded, it's a creek that's going under the bridge. But when it's raining, the water goes over the bridge. which means you should be careful when you're crossing some of these bridges. Uh, I remember going down in one, I would call it a gorge because it was massive. It was like this. It was probably deeper than this. But um, went down into this gorge and crossed one of these low pressure bridges. And I was trying to figure it out. I think it was one of the first ones I'd seen. And I looked to the right downstream and saw this. It was basically a John boat, a small two-man aluminum boat that you can paddle or put a small engine on. Well, this John boat was up in the trees, about 60 feet up off the creek bed or the river bed, whatever you want to call it. At the time I crossed it, it was a small creek, but at the time that John boat found its way up there, it was a pretty solid river. Yeah, I'm hoping not to catch those Harleys because this might be hard to pass these guys on this twisty road without spooking those guys into the ditch. I don't want to do that. They're out here to have fun too. Just at a third the pace. I'm really not going that fast. I'm just enjoying the road and learning the road. What's up? What's up, fellas? There's a lot of bikes out here today. I think that has a lot more to do with the fatality rate than anything else. Bikers like twisty roads. Well, some of them do. All of them like scenery. Some of them like some twisty, winding roads. A lot of them, I would say more than a few, don't like stuff like this because it scares the hell out of them and makes them realize they don't know how to ride, which should encourage them to learn how to ride better. Not necessarily faster, just ride through these curves with more confidence, which is what Gymkhana is all about, learning how to turn your bike with not only inputs from your bars, but your throttle, brakes, and clutch, which is how I'm riding right now. If you want to learn how to ride really fast, you go out on the track and take a course from a racing instructor. But that's not really what we're teaching at Gymkhana. We teach how to turn your basics, just the bare bone basics that so many people are missing. And it's very subtle too, because everybody thinks, hey, I can ride a bicycle. You just add an engine to it and you got a motorcycle, right? Well, a lot of the concepts are the same, but one of the things that you're missing on a bicycle is you don't have really powerful brakes. Bicycles today don't have the ability to lock the front and rear. Well, I don't know, maybe none of the bikes I've had, and I've had some pretty expensive bikes, applying too much brakes. What do you do when you're braking in a corner and you're not really taking the speeds that you take on a bicycle? And not just fat, all those things combined with the complete lack of power. I got some beef under my ass, but I have to manipulate the bicycle to make the rear wheel spin. So, this is quite twisty and it's a lot of downhill, which makes it more dangerous. I think I have found the most dangerous roads are the ones that allow you to get a lot of speed and then trick you into thinking that there's nothing going on. Here you go. Here's a 10 mile an hour turn. Let's see if it's really a 10 mile an hour turn or if it's more like a 25 mile an hour turn. Yeah, it's pretty slow. I'm doing almost 30. Yeah, that was easily a 30 mile an hour turn, but people that don't know how to turn their bike, that's a 10 mile an hour turn. You need to slow the hell down, man, before you wind up in somebody else's lane or over the guardrail. So this is the point that I lost the battery on my Osmo, that camera that's hanging off the side of my head with the microphone attached. But I was doing nothing but blithering nonsense anyway. Just thought you might enjoy this ride along with me on Highway 337, one of the Three Sisters. I got most of it. Wasn't shortly after this I wandered into the town of Lakey, where I did my laundry. Didn't film any of that because I was all business there. I had to do laundry and take a shower in their bathroom, which was awesome. But I did not really want to film any of that. But yeah, so that's it for this one. Coming up next is the Del Rio and Eagle Pass uh, adventure. So make sure you stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell and blah, 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 blah. You know what to do. See you later.